Hare Krishna. I welcome all of you to the third episode on Glorious Mother series, International Mother's Day special. Request all of you to join me to offer our prayers to Srila Prabhupada and to their lordships. Please join me. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Lord Krishna describes in Srimad Bhagavad Gita 10th chapter the opulences, how his greatness is manifested in this world. And Chandogya Upanishad says, Matrudevo Bhava. You can experience the divinity, you can experience the presence of the Lord in your life through your mother. It's mother who is the carrier of God's compassion, mercy, love, care, affection to her children. So, in this way, we understand the importance of mother, how she is an important instrument in God's hand to deliver the mercy of the Lord. In 5th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, it is mentioned, unless one is qualified, you should not become mother. Unless one is eligible to guide children, one should not take up the role of a father or mother. It is that serious position. And the Vedic history is full of such great examples of mothers, how they guided their children towards Supreme Lord Krishna and became celebrated as glorious mothers. Today, we are going to discuss about one of such great examples from the Vedic history. And this glorious mother name is Suniti, and this is from 4th canto Srimad Bhagavatam. There is a story, or there is this description of Dhruva Maharaj, who was great grandson of Lord Brahma. He was a son of King Uttanapada, and his mother was Suniti. Suniti was the first wife of King Uttanapada. Uttanapada also had another wife called Suruchi. Once, Dhruva Maharaj, he wanted to sit on the lap of his father. When he entered the palace, he saw that his step-brother, the Suruchi's son, was sitting on the lap of his father and having the affectionate exchange with his father. And when Dhruva Maharaj saw this, he was also influenced by this incident. He also wanted to sit on the father's lap and wanted to enjoy his father Uttanapada's affection. So he came and sat on the lap of his father and started talking to his father with great affection. And the stepmother Suruchi, who was standing next to Maharaj Uttanapada, when she saw this, she was so angry. Her heart was filled with enviousness towards Maharaj, the small boy Dhruva. And she immediately pushed him away from his Dhruva's father Uttanapada's lap, and she started rebuking Dhruva. She said, "You, Dhruva, you are not qualified. You are not eligible. Don't even dare and try to sit on your father Uttanapada's lap. That place is only meant for my child, my son. In this life, you will not be able to do this. Immediately go away from this place. And Dhruva, being small child, it was too much for him to handle. He was not expecting this. He was hurt. His emotions were hurt. He was feeling humiliated. As small children, they always expect affection and encouragement from elderly people. But Dhruva got completely opposite. And he looked at his father, and father was helpless. Even though Father Uttanapada wanted to help his son Dhruva, but in the presence of his wife Suruchi, and because of his weakness towards his wife Suruchi, he could not say even a word. He was simply helplessly looking at his son Dhruva. And Dhruva, when he realized that he was not going to get any help from his father Uttanapada, he felt even more humiliated. He felt dejected, and with great anger, with so much of grief in his heart, he immediately rushes to his mother Suniti. Suniti is the glorious mother that Srimad Bhagavatam talks about. Why she is celebrated as glorious mother? Let's discover from what happened. When Maharaj Dhruva comes to his mother Suniti and narrates the whole incident, by hearing that incident, the mother Suniti becomes very upset and her heart is filled with pain, knowing what her son went through. But even though her heart was filled with grief and pain, she started to empathize with her son Dhruva. Yesterday we were discussing another glorious mother Sumitra, how she was counseling and pacifying Kausalya for her son Ram, leaving her in Ayodhya and going to forest. Today also we see this great quality of empathy in Mother Suniti's life. She was empathizing with Maharaj Dhruva, the small boy Dhruva, who was 5-year-old at that time, and she was trying to understand his feelings and emotions, and she was giving him some kind of a confidence. That is the quality that Suniti exhibited, the quality of being empathetic, trying to understand the feelings and emotions of the small boy Dhruva. Dhruva was hurt. Dhruva was crying. Dhruva was going through so much of grief, and mother was understanding those feelings and pacifying him. And the second quality that Suniti exhibited was, after hearing this incident, she was not finding any fault with either her husband Uttanapada or her co-sister Suruchi. Sometimes what happens in our life, when somebody insults, when somebody do injustice, we become so upset and we start finding fault and we start complaining. She was not complaining. Suniti did not complain. Even though I am the first wife, my husband has not given me these rights. My son did not get these rights to sit on the lap and enjoy the father's affection and kingdom. She was not complaining. You see this, it is said there are 3 cancers: comparison, competition, and complaining. These are negative attitude. They won't help you in any way. And Suniti knew this very well. She was not at all complaining. She was not finding any fault either with Suruchi for that harsh behavior, nor with her husband for not helping Dhruva. What she did? She was focusing on the positive side of what happened. Actually, the glorious mothers are those who do not complain, who do not hold any grudge in their heart. Suniti was not carrying any grudge, was not carrying any anger against her co-sister Suruchi or Uttanapada. She did not teach Dhruva, oh, you should go take revenge, you should do something and punish them. This is not the way she gave upbringing to the Dhruva. What she told was something very positive. She said, oh, my dear son, my dear child Dhruva, actually what Suruchi said is true. If you want to enjoy the kingdom of your fathers, you need the blessings of the Supreme Lord. It is only by the blessings of the Supreme Lord you will be able to fulfill your desire. In fact, Dhruva Maharaj was so insulted. He was feeling he was insulted and humiliated. He came to his mother and said, my dear mother, I know that my stepmother told me that I'm not eligible to sit on my father's lap. What to speak of ruling this father's kingdom? So I want to get a bigger kingdom than my father. I want to get bigger and bigger kingdom. So when Mother Suniti heard this, she said, she saw the positive. Yes, you see, what your stepmother Suruchi told, that is very much possible. You can get it. But only when Supreme Lord Krishna blesses you. See, she did not teach revenge attitude in the heart of Dhruva Maharaj. She said, yes, what she said, you must do it. It is possible. And in this way, she did not create one villain out of Dhruva Maharaj, but she eventually created a hero, a great hero out of this incidents. This is the positive mentality of Suniti. She was not focusing on what went wrong. She was focusing on solution. So the great quality of Mother Suniti is she was not focused on problem. She was focusing on a solution. So she said, my dear Dhruva Maharaj, you must now approach to the Supreme Lord and seek His blessings. If the Supreme Lord blesses, because by the blessings of the Supreme Lord, your father has got this kingdom. And now if you want a bigger kingdom than your father, then you require the blessings of the Supreme Lord. In this way, she gave solution to her son Dhruva. She was not focusing on a problem and making a problem bigger and bigger and complaining, crying and having revenge in her heart and teaching the same revenge attitude to Dhruva. No. She actually taught the positive attitude. She taught how to be focused on the solution. Don't cry over what went wrong and who treated you how. Basically, she did not teach a victim mentality to her son Dhruva Maharaj. She was focusing on what can we do, what is in our control. She was not thinking what is not in our control and cry. She said, yes, it is very much in our control. It is very much possible for us to go and approach and take the shelter of the Supreme Lord. That is very much possible. So what is possible within our capacity, we must do that. And that's what this glorious Mother Suniti taught her son Dhruva Maharaj. So in every situation, there is something which is beyond our control. There is something within our control. How Dhruva's stepmother Suniti behaves, how she treats Dhruva is something beyond the control of Dhruva and Suniti. But what is in our control is that we can always go to Supreme Lord and pray to the Supreme Lord. In this way, we can achieve what we want to achieve by using what is within our capacity, what is within our control. So the glorious mother will always teach the son how to focus on what is within our capacity. That's called cooperation spirit. That is not at all competition. That is not at all comparison. You see, when you compare, if you compare yourself, your child with somebody else, then you are actually diverting what is not in our capacity, what is not in our control. And in this way, the child will only going to get discouraged. It is not going to get encouraged in any manner. Oh, somebody achieved this. Oh, somebody did that. Why don't you do this? No, what somebody else do, what somebody else achieve, maybe not in our control. Maybe it is beyond our control. So the glorious mother is the one who never compares the child with someone else, but she always teaches the child to look within ourselves. She teaches the son or daughter to see what is within your capacity and try to focus on that and become expert in that. And that's what exactly Suniti did. She told Dhruva Maharaj, don't focus on Suruchi, how she treated you. Don't focus on Uttanapada, how he did not help you. Focus on you. Focus on what can you do. And what can you do? You can approach the Supreme Lord, and that is very much possible. And this is called responsible behavior. Suniti, this great glorious mother, she taught how to be responsible. She made Dhruva, a small boy, to handle the whole situation, not in a victim mentality manner. In fact, she made Dhruva Maharaj think in a responsible manner. Yes, I can do something about this situation, not just sit and complain and compare. So what she said to Maharaj, the small boy Dhruva, is something very, very important. As I already told, Srimad Bhagavatam says, you should become father, you should become mother, you should become spiritual master only when you can guide your children or your disciples towards the Supreme Lord. When we can guide our dependents to the Supreme Lord, then you are fulfilling your real responsibility of being father and mother. In this case, Suniti, when Dhruva approached her, she told him that you must now go to the Supreme Lord. I remember in my childhood, whenever there were some problems, my mother would always tell me, please go to God, please go to Krishna and please pray to him. I'm sure in our country, in this glorious country, Bharata Bhumi, in this India, many millions of mothers, all of our mothers would have told the same. That they would have told all of us, go to temple, pray to God, please communicate your problems to God, seek his blessings, and before any good work or any, before we go to write exams or we take up any challenge in our life, all of our mothers generally teach us to seek the blessings of the Lord. So this is the real responsibility of a mother that Suniti exhibited, that to guide the children towards Krishna, guide child to Narayana, and then you become glorious mother. Actually, when mother and father, when they guide their children to God, they are fulfilling the real responsibility of being a father and being a mother. And Suniti told Dhruva Maharaj like this. She said, Nanyam tata padma palasha lochana dukkachidam te mrigayami kanchana mrugyate hastagrihita padmaya shriyetayai vimargyamana. She said, oh my dear Dhruva, this Supreme Lord is so great that he can bestow any benediction to his devotees. In fact, Lakshmi Devi, she is eagerly waiting to do some seva to Narayana, to Lord Krishna. It is only by approaching Krishna, Narayana, you can actually achieve your desire. So please go, take the shelter of the Supreme Lord and please take his blessing to achieve. You see, the glorious mother is the one who gives this kind of an instruction, who tells that we must approach Krishna in our life. And then Suniti told Dhruva Maharaj, you can see this verse on your screen, she in fact glorified the Supreme Lord. Yasyangri padmam paricharya vishva vibhavanayatta gunabhipatte ajo. She said, Adhyatishtat khalu parameshthyam Padma Jitatma Shvasanu Abhivandyam. She said that Supreme Lord, whose lotus feet is worshipped throughout this universe by great people, even by Lord Brahma. It is by the blessings of Supreme Lord that even Lord Brahma is able to control the whole world. So it is only Supreme Lord Krishna who can make you a king of this world. So please approach him. And in this way, she instructed Dhruva Maharaj to go and seek Krishna's shelter to fulfill his desire. And this is how she guided and she encouraged. She did not say, "You're a very small boy, it is not possible for you, your desire is too much." No, she was never discouraging. She encouraged, and this is one good quality that we can see in all of our mothers. Our mothers always encouraged us, even though outsiders would have told, "Oh, this is not possible for you, you're too small," and all those discouraging words. But it is our mothers who always gave encouraging words, who gave all types of encouragement in our childhood, even now also. So that is a great quality we must appreciate. We must thank our mothers for always being encouraging in our life. They have encouraged in many tough situations, right? Like Suniti encouraged Dhruva Maharaj, even though he's too small, but still she's encouraging him. And then what she did was something very inspiring. Dhruva Maharaj, when he said, "Okay, my dear mother, where is Supreme Lord Krishna? Because you told me I must go and pray to him. Where is he?" Then she said, "I have heard from great people, I've heard from great sages that Supreme Lord Narayana is found in the forest. So maybe you can go there and find him." So another interesting thing about glorious mother is she never stops her children from going and approaching the Supreme Lord and going and taking shelter of the Supreme Lord. And the glorious mother will never stop. "Oh, you have to go to forest, better don't go, you be here only." No, if it requires for her son to go and do tapasya, to go and take up some difficulties to seek the shelter of the Supreme Lord, the mother will always encourage, because without pain there is no gain. No pain, no gain. And this glorious mother Suniti knows this. So she loves her child Dhruva, and now Dhruva is going to forest, and Suniti is encouraging her son to go to the forest so that he can pray, worship, and finally realize the Supreme Lord Krishna in his life. So the glorious mother is always encouraging in the sons or in their children's spiritual path. I know there are many parents who come to temple who are so encouraging. They personally bring their son and daughter, or sometimes both, to the temple, and they call and they inquire when is the next trip, when are the next program. In fact, they also come to the temple. So they want their children to chant Hare Krishna mantra. They are all glorious parents. They're all so great. In fact, Srila Prabhupada, in his biography we can read, there were two great devotees called Brahmananda Prabhu and Garga Muni. They were brothers and they became devotees in Hare Krishna movement. And Prabhupada, he was so happy about these two devotees. And once the mother of Brahmananda Prabhu and Garga Muni came to see her children, and Prabhupada immediately told Garga Muni and Brahmananda Prabhus, "Please immediately fall, touch the feet of your mother. She is glorious. She's so great. She's so great and glorious that she has given birth to two devotee sons, and she has allowed both of you to take up Krishna consciousness. She has encouraged both of you to practice Krishna consciousness. So she's a glorious mother. You should touch her feet and take her blessings." Like this, Srila Prabhupada was so much appreciating the mother of Brahmananda Prabhu and Garga Muni Prabhu. So like this, there are so many parents who are very encouraging that their children must take up spirituality in their life and take shelter of Lord Krishna. And Suniti did this. And the most important quality of the Suniti, this glorious mother, is her firm faith in Lord Krishna. She had full faith in Lord Krishna, that Krishna is the Supreme Lord. It is Krishna who can protect her son Dhruva. It is Krishna who can fulfill the desire of her son Dhruva. She did not have any doubt. This is very important because children learn everything from their mother. And when mother has unflinching faith in the Supreme Lord, even the children also develop the same unflinching faith in the Supreme Lord. So because of the Suniti's faith, Dhruva Maharaj also developed faith and went to forest and he did great tapasya. And as we all know, how great Dhruva Maharaj later in 6 months, he made the Supreme Lord appear before him. That was a kind of inspiration that he received from his mother and later his spiritual master Narada Muni. So Dhruva Maharaj, when he saw the Supreme Lord before him, he offered wonderful prayers. He said that Yo antha pravishya mama vacham imam prasuptam sanjeevatya kila shakti dharasva damna anyam stahasta charana shravanatvagadin pranan namo bhagavate purushaya tubhyam. He said, Oh my dear Lord, all these days my senses were sleeping. Today, after you have entered within me, all my senses are awakened. And now that my senses are awakened, my real senses, I can see you, I can experience you, and I am having the spiritual transcendental happiness. So Dhruva Maharaj concluded his prayers by offering an amazing verse. He said, Sthana bhilashi tapase stiteham Tvam praptavan deva munindra guhyam Kachan vichinnavan api divya ratnam Swamin kritarthosmi varam na yache. Look at the conclusion of Dhruva Maharaj. He says, Oh my dear Lord, I came here to do tapasya to get a bigger kingdom than my father. Sthana bhilashi tapasesti teham. I did this tapasya. But after seeing you, I realized that I was searching for some glass pieces. Kachan vichinnavan api divya ratnam. Actually, you are that ratna, you are that special ruby, special diamond. When you are there as a special diamond and ruby, I was foolishly looking for some glass pieces. Swamin kritarthosmi. Oh my dear Lord, I am completely satisfied. Varamna yache. I do not want any benedictions from you because having you, getting you itself is so fulfilling. I don't want anything more in my life. You see, for Dhruva Maharaj to come to this condition, his mother played a very important role. She is considered as Vartma Pradarshaka Guru. We have heard that how mothers are the first guru in our life. And in Dhruva Maharaja's case, it is practically true. It is his mother who played the first guru role, and later Narada Muni gave the further instruction and solidified Dhruva Maharaja's bhakti and gave him that diksha, empowered him to do all these things. But Suniti, who actually told Dhruva to go and seek the shelter of Narayana, Krishna, she became the Vartma Pradarshaka Guru. So in this way, the glorious mother Suniti, she played an important role in Dhruva Maharaja's life to seek and take the shelter of Lord Krishna. And in this way, we can also realize how our mothers directly or indirectly have helped us take up spirituality. They might have told us to learn shlokas. They must have gifted us some spiritual books. They might have taken us to temples. They must have engaged us in some puja in the house, or they must have taught us some songs of Lord. And in so many ways, they must have helped us to take the shelter of Lord in our life. So this International Mother's Day, we request all of you to please recognize and appreciate your mothers and be grateful to your mothers for all the encouragement and all the help that you received from your mother in your spiritual life, because all these good qualities are coming originally from Supreme Lord Krishna and are reflected in the heart of our mothers. When you appreciate your mother, you're appreciating Krishna, and Krishna is very happy to see this being grateful, this gratitude attitude in your heart, and only then Krishna will come and stay in your heart. So that way we will be fulfilling this quality of being grateful to Supreme Lord and our mothers. And now we will be showing you another video of a folk devotee who is appreciating and being grateful to his mother. Please watch this. You can also make a video and send it to us, and we will share that with other folk devotees for them to take inspiration to appreciate their mother's wonderful qualities. Thank you so much for joining every day. Please comment below. Tell us how was today's episode. What did you learn? At least comment one quality that you are inspired from today's episode, and also tell us tomorrow about whom you would like to hear, who is the personality you want us to speak, so that we get some input from all of you. Thank you so much. Now the video on your screen. Hare Krishna. See you tomorrow.